Rich, and today we're going to do 3 stocks they watch for the month of June. So this is a series that I do. I take financial YouTubers, they have videos they call 3 stocks they're watching or 3 stocks they're going to buy for the month of whatever. And then I just take those stats, kind of look at if you had purchased those stocks a year ago on the beginning of the month that they mentioned, how would they have done? And so this month is June, and for picking, I usually pick the last month's winner, and then I pick other financial YouTubers who've done really well. Hopefully that includes somebody who's really famous. Usually I have Jeremy from Financial Education. In this case, his picks were among the worst picks, maybe. Usually he's not that bad. So I just kind of left him off because I didn't think it was that important. And so who do we have? We have this month, Positive Investing, Nick. He was the winner again of last month. Then we have Twin Finance, a couple of guys who look very identical. Their name's Dillon and Jackson, I think. They have a little channel out there. And then we have Ali of Ali's World of Stocks, Cyberworld 7, and BB stands for Branded Beavis Investing. Now, I'll put a link to all their channels below and their stock picks if you wanted to review that. And feel free to check out their channels, but after you subscribe to mine, of course. Anyways, so let's get into it. If you had purchased at the beginning of June, their picks, how would they have done? So after the first week, Twin Finance, their returns were 11.1%, which is amazing for 1 week. Now this can happen from time to time, so I don't know if it's that easy to predict. If these people could predict this all the time, they would be cajillionaires. But anyways, still very good returns, 11%. It is better than the return of the S&P up to date from the beginning of June. I mean, the S&P I think is only at like 3.3% as of the recording of this video. So very nice returns. Their picks were Signet Jewelers, ticker symbol SIG, Berkshire Hathaway, ticker symbol BRK.A or .B. Nobody really, most investors aren't buying the A shares, but they're like $300,000 a share. And then Albemarle, which is ticker symbol ALB. Very interesting stocks. These guys have done quite well for picks for short term, I guess, maybe. So very interesting, especially the 1 week. I mean, hey, pretty good. Other people, most people did pretty good. They were all positive, so very nice the first week. Now if we move into the next category, that's 1 month. Now 1 month, after 1 month, this is kind of what the whole video is about. You could look at it at least that way. So for the whole month of June, the best return was Cyberworld 7. He had 18.3%, which 18.3% again, very good returns. 1 month. I mean, think about Cyberworld 7. He had the best picks for 1 year going on from basically April 2018. He was almost 80% return, so I don't know if you can beat that very often, but very good for 3 picks. And yeah, his picks this time were Micron Waste Management, ticker symbol MWM, but it's a different stock market, so like C.MWM, GE, and then Aurora Cannabis, ticker symbol ACB. But again, the thing about Cyberworld 7, he's definitely a kind of high risk, high reward kind of investor, but he seems to pick a lot of high reward companies. So even though, you know, maybe sometimes like all his picks, 2/3 of his picks might go bust, sometimes his picks will go through the stratosphere, and I guess if you're playing that kind of game, it can be very exciting. And if you like he does have a lot of interesting picks though, so very interesting person, very interesting picks. His channel is kind of like a nebulous kind to watch, but maybe mine is too. So anyways, enough about that. And then on the bottom, just to kind of highlight this, there's a little dashed line. This is the S&P kind of cutoff, so if people are doing better or worse than the S&P 500. And so Ali's World of Stocks, he slipped below the S&P after 1 month. He was at minus 2.8%. So unfortunate for him. But if we look into the next category, which is one quarter, so again, this is where stock prices can really change because after 3 months, companies usually come out with their earnings, and that really makes a big difference in where the company's headed. And so Ale, he was at the top all of a sudden. He went up to 25.8%. Really amazing. I mean, 25.8% in a year generally would be good. And he had picks of Nintendo, AMD, and Disney. So ticker symbol DIS. So yeah, these stocks, they do, he has a kind of a vision of some stocks far off into the future. He really likes tech stocks, and these ones did really well this since last June. So great picks for him. Very nice. Another one who was over 20%, Twin Finance, still at second place there, and everybody was in the double digits. It was up until last September of 2018, and if you were following the stock market, basically the whole market was up. I mean, S&P was up 5.9% at that time, and then the stock market started to kind of slowly crash or slowly fall from September to December, and then in December they really crashed, and before they came back up this year, mostly in January and a little bit in February, and then they've been kind of in no man's land since then, going up, but getting a little bit more and more volatile, especially with the China trade war. Now, moving on, after half a year, we have suddenly Brandon Beavis. He jumped into first place. His picks, he kind of mentioned that he was picking a little bit more conservatively, especially with, you know, the high market. I don't know if there are high market prices, but the market in general was doing a lot better over the last 10 plus years. So he was looking at more basic, back to basics kind of stocks. He picked Procter & Gamble, ticker symbol PG, Pepsi Co., which is ticker symbol PEP, and Pfizer, ticker symbol PFE. And those companies, I mean, most of their products people are aware of or have some inkling of, so very stable companies, which I think that's why he shot up so much after half a year, because these companies are what people kind of rush their money into when the stock market does crash, and they were doing okay before that, and then shot up because, you know, in December people sold off like crazy, and good for him. He if he actually bought those stocks, he probably did quite well. 24%, not bad. I mean, you know, LA just before the crash, he was at 25%. He still was down at 19%, so his picks were good. Another one, Twin Finance then slipped below to minus 20.6% from being up quite a bit higher. A lot of that is due to their Signet Jewelers pick, and I don't know if people need jewelry in times of, you know, poor economic situations, so that's probably one stressor on that stock. And then finally, after we remove our high class graphics blocker, we have 35.4% to date for Ali's World. So his picks were Disney. They're coming out with a challenger to Netflix, I guess, Disney Plus. AMD also involved in, I think, the streaming service for Google's games, and Nintendo's still doing. They were his worst pick. It's down 10%, but yeah, AMD up 83% on the year, which was, I think, the best stock that was picked. And then Disney still up 33% over the year. So very good picks. Another one, you had, I guess, Brandon Beavis. Again, his stable picks were over 30% up to date. So very good there. And there was only 3 YouTubers I could find that had beat the S&P after 1 year. So I think the crash in December really weeded out a lot of stocks. But JKR Investing, he's not on the list. I've talked about him in the past videos. You know, his channel's only like 200 and some, maybe 250, 260 subscribers at the time. But his picks seem to be generally consistent. I think he had one bad month of picks, but he had said he was actually not planning on buying any of those stocks because they were too high price and a little bit risky in that sense. But yeah, I mean, his picks were Boeing, Microsoft, and PayPal. And even though Boeing had really bad news as of late, they're still just about like even with the beginning of June. They're like minus 0.3% or something. So everything else, he's always consistently like between 15 and 25% return, it seems, with his picks. But I don't know if he can carry that out. It's just very interesting that his last year picks were very good. So I thought I'd mention that. And then, yeah, we had these other guys falling off. Twin Finance, again, the Signet Jeweler thing really crashed them. Positive Investing, unfortunately, his picks, if we're looking at positive investing, his picks were eBay, JD.com, and Goldman Sachs. And really the worst one, Goldman Sachs didn't do that well, but the worst one was JD.com, and that's totally because of the China trade war, or very much because of the China trade war and tensions. And, you know, maybe other people had picked Chinese stocks as well, and that's always one of the risks, I guess, for those. Not that the company's actually bad in itself. And yeah, so that kind of wraps it up. I'd love to know what you guys think of these stock picks. Now, if you're curious, I just do these videos basically to try and improve my personal speaking. I'm a physicist, and I'm not great at speaking in public, so this is just it's like a Toastmasters for me. And I like to talk about stocks and just kind of see what people think about. But if you guys know of any better investors, let me know. If you guys are curious, who was the worst. I don't like. I don't put that out there necessarily because I don't know if it's that beneficial, but I could. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next video.